It's Beto Perez. Thank you so much for tuning in, man. I appreciate you. And today we got a special guest, Southtown representative, man. One of my good homies, Marcos Curiel of P.O.D. How you doing,
What's
my brother?
up, man? How are you?
Dude, it's always good to see you, man. And today we're going to talk about some music history because I rant and rave about how San Diego never gets the love from the rock, from the hip-hop, from the reggae. It comes from our neck of the woods. We're from the South Bay. We're from San Diego. And I feel like we are a melting pot. We go anything from Chalino Sanchez to Depeche Mode to, Megadeth. And we are a melting pot of all that, and you could definitely get those sounds in the P.O.D. Band. So, can you give us a little background history on all that and your thoughts on it?
Well, I think a lot of people kind of just, depending on where they're from in San Diego, there's this stigma of, oh man, once you go south, it's just pretty hard living down there. It's scary. And I'm like, I work with people back in the day that they were like telling me that. I'm like, dude, it's not like that. I mean, it's rough, but we got a lot of culture down there, man. We got a lot of good music. There's a scene. P.O.D. actually came up in a punk rock hardcore scene with hip hop. So I don't, maybe because of where I'm at with my age, I don't know, but from what I've gathered, there's not much of a scene anymore. Like, there's not a scene of, like, we're going to a hardcore show at this guy's garage. There was a guy named Del Mar down in South Bay that used to throw hardcore shows in his garage, and you'd go there. The bands would set up in front of the garage door. The door would be shut, and they'd pack everyone into the kitchen, into this garage, up to each other like this, and then they start rocking, and everybody be hanging on the wood, and it was insane, man. It was inspiring also, because that's what made us want to play in a band.
And is that kind of the root? So, taking us back, we were having a conversation off the mic, and we were talking about other bands that inspired P.O.D. Can you talk a little bit about those bands and how they inspired P.O.D.?
I mean, where shall I begin? But one of the bands that we give a lot of credit to is the Bad Brains, because they were one of the first bands that brought African-American Rasta, mixing it with punk rock East Coast attitude. And for a bunch of ethnic kids in the South Bay, a brother on bass, a Chicano on guitar, Filipino, Italian on drums. We're all mixed up, and that's what America is all about, baby. Being mixed up, man. And for us, we looked up to bands like that because it gave us hope. Because not until I got out of high school, everybody was predominantly, even in the neighborhood, everyone's like, well, you like that white boy music. And I was like, it's just music, man. But they were right. Every time you saw someone, the Kurt Cobain looking, blue eyes, blonde hair, nothing against that. But where does a person like me or Sonny or what fit in on all that? So we created our own band, and we just played with a lot of emotion and heart and soul, man. And we grabbed from our influences like the Santanas, the U2s, the Bad Brains.
Can you talk about the bands in the South San Diego area that inspired you guys?
Well, I mean, me and Wov, we played, House of Suffering is a band that we actually did a cover of on one of our first albums, Snuff the Punk. It was called Draw the Line. We used to go see them play, and they came from a hardcore, straight-edge scene band called Amenity. And they started mixing rap with straight-edge hardcore. And we started going to shows, and me and Wov at the time were doing, like thrash metal music, which is cool.
But it's unheard of, right? In our neck of the woods.
It was. I was playing guitar and screaming. And once we saw this guy jumping on stage and rhyming over a groove, but heavy guitars, we fell in love instantly. And I remember me and Wov were going to his dad's construction site, and we were talking about, dude, don't you love hip hop? Don't you like rap? That'd be sick to do something like that. Why don't we try something different? And next thing you know, man, we started jamming, and we had this vision of trying to do something in that vein. This was actually before Rage Against the Machine. I think everybody started comparing us to Suicidal Tendencies early on.
What year was this?
Dude, 90, 91.
Wow, okay.
We became a band officially in 92. Sonny, the singer for P.O.D., was actually in a rap group called Unlicensed Product.
Wow.
And at the time, he was going through this thing. His mom passed away, and Wov was like, hey dude, I know a perfect guy that could be our singer, and he raps and everything, and like my cousin, and it'll be a good outlet for him. And I was like, really? Every time I see your cousin, he doesn't say a dang word. He's super shy. I'm like, how's he gonna front our band? And look at,
wow,
we've created a monster.
Created a monster, man. That is definitely some good history background, and you got a new album. It's called Circles right now. And can we start when we start from there's 11 tracks on this? Can we start from track number 1 and go down and just kind of give us a back history on
I don't have
one?
the track list on me.
We'll pull it up. Don't worry, my brother. We'll pull it up, man.
Well, the first song I can Rockin' with the
sure.
Best. You know, that's actually musically, it's riff driven, but it actually, Sonny came up with that idea from an MC Light song. You know, I believe the 80s, that who rocks the party that rocks the party. Everyone knows that line. We actually given her royalties on that song because we're just trying to give props and show homage and respect to that, because a lot of these kids don't have a clue.
Yeah.
But it's as soon as they hear it, no matter where we play it, people instantly know what that is. They don't know where it came from. A lot of people think it's ours.
Yeah.
But we're here to tell you, we're just paying respect.
It's crazy that you guys have been here through what, 3 decades now, right? From the 90s to today.
Don't remind me, man.
and it's weird to me how the generations don't really know stuff that we grew up on. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know that? You know? And
well, it's our job as older sisters, older brothers, parents to teach these kids. Yo, you think that's dope? You know where they're grabbing from? They're grabbing from here. Like, you know, no disrespect, but you got that band Greta Van Fleet, sounds identical to Zeppelin.
Right.
And then you hear them denying it on radio or on interviews that, oh, we don't even listen to Zeppelin. Whatever they say, and you're like sitting there going, what? That's messed up. You guys sound very close, man, you know? Okay. So we've been a band that's always been okay with giving props. Yeah. Like, yo, man, we're doing our own thing, but we got to give credit to the Santanas, the Bad Brains, because they're the OGs.
OGs. Always Southern California's track number 2.
We always got to pay our respects to San Diego and Southern California.
That record right there makes me just want to get on my bike and go down a cruise down like the beach areas, or just take a little swim somewhere, man. It's just to feel good. It's just California.
It is, man.
Top down kind of.
We always want to have a song or two on every record like that. And it seems like, we don't want it to be like one of these contrived things where, they're forcing it. It naturally comes about, and we just like, for me personally, we were on tour and it was freezing. It was like 6 degrees, and we were on tour back east, and I was looking at everyone's social media, and they were in San Diego and enjoying the sun, and I was like getting depressed going, dude, I wish I was home right now because of the weather. It really gets to you.
Yeah.
So we always joked around, well, dude, it's always in my head no matter where I go.
Yeah.
Keeps me positive. I can't wait to get home.
For sure. Track number 3, we got Circles. That's the name of the album.
Well, everything has a beginning and an end, and things tend to repeat themselves. Like we were just talking about the Greta Van Fleet thing, the Circle of Life. That song can get deep with, if you listen to lyrics, anxiety, prescription meds, or abusive relationships. There's a cycle that we have to break to better ourselves. Or you can just say, you know what? You can take it literal and just be like, it's about a circle.
Circle, right. All right. After that, we got Panic Attack.
Well, come on. Everyone's had that, right?
Yeah.
At some point or another, you freak out and stress out, have anxiety about a situation or some circumstances that are out of your control, and we wrote a song about it.
Okay. We got On the Radio next.
On the radio.
Marcos, hit it.
I know, I'm like sitting here like, that song, it's kind of, for me, it's like old school too. And it's like a flossy song, dude. Like basically saying, without saying, yo, we're P.O.D. But some people are afraid to still play us on the radio, and we're still here doing it regardless, because you're gonna bump us in your stereo at home.
Yeah, and I bump you guys regardless, whether we play or not play. We gotta show you love. But you guys are our hometown. You guys represented San Diego all around the world, and you guys always show love.
That SD right there.
You guys always show love to Rock 105.3, man. So thank you guys. Next record is Fly Away.
Is it Fly Away? Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
I'm looking at it right here.
Come on, is that the right song? Okay, Fly Away, man. The backstory to that riff and that lick on guitar, I wrote that for the last record, and it didn't fit. and I tossed it to Sonny, and nothing came of it. So I always had, I was like, this is such a good thing.
Yeah.
Well, once we started working with the Heavy, who produced our latest record, they work with like the Dirty Heads and Sublime with Rome and the Lovely Band, a bunch of alternative stuff. I was like, I gotta reintroduce this, bring it back and see what the producers think. And everybody instantly fell in love with it, and it became that song. And that's why you just don't give up on stuff, because it doesn't work at some point. If you really love it, you'll bring it back out, dude. We got to do something with this.
At some point, everything goes back around in the circle.
In circle. There you go.
Circles, man.
Damn.
Listening for Silence is the next one.
Well, we shot a video for that one here in San Diego. We did a lot of our live shots at the Tribal Warehouse. It's a song about mental stuff going on. Listening for the silence. Basically, there's so much white noise and chaos going on that we just want peace and quiet.
Got it.
And Depeche Mode. Listen.
Enjoy the Silence, one of my favorites, man.
And we shot the video and we put a twist on it. It's about PTSD. Wow. The video is. And, you know, we were just kind of just focusing on that and the struggle with that and mental illness and all that. So
there's a lot of people suffering from mental illness, man.
Yeah.
And all right, next one is Dreamin'.
Dreaming is exactly what it says, man. It's a song about dreaming of this perfect world, peaceful world filled with love. And, you know.
We got Domino after that.
You know what? Domino was to be honest with you, Domino was one of my least favorite songs lyrically.
Keeping it real.
No, lyrically. And as it progressed, it's now one of my favorites. And I can't really say what Sonny was thinking about when he wrote the lyrics, but it's technically about playing this game of dominoes, but kind of like with your life.
Got it. Okay. All right, we got South Point.
Like it's a gamble.
Life is a gamble, for sure, man.
Right? So,
what would you say, speaking of gambling, what would you say, like, what's something that came up positive out of a gamble that you probably didn't think you were going to win?
Well, when I go with my dad to Verona and I hit that slot machine, and then I'm like, dang, I got 3 sevens. I got the jackpot. Come on, man. We got Chicanos, Mexicanos, and Filipinos. We're all up in there. We're up in there strong, dude.
Oh, man. I'm against it with my mom.
I'm not even lying, man. That's the truth. Because I go and I have fun, but that's a way for me and my dad to bond. Right. So I don't gamble like I'm not gambling for the rent or nothing. I gamble because I'm having fun and, you know, all in perspective, man. And then I'll see a bunch of random people there, like Carlos from B-Side.
Carlos,
I'm like, look at this. What's he doing here? Wolf's dad, Papa Noah. I'm like, man, I know who the gamblers are, because what's up, guys?
Soundboy Killem Ed is the second to last track.
That was actually one of the first songs we wrote for this record. We did that with Cameron Webb, who did the last No Effects record, and he's done like Islander and Motorhead and just a bunch of punk rock stuff, Pennywise. And that song just basically, it's a flossy track, like saying, yo, we are the Soundboy Killers. Like we're here to just straight. If you listen to the lyrics, Sonny's basically saying that his lyrics are like bullets blowing your brains out.
Woo.
You know, and that's pretty hard.
Yeah.
It's fun to play, but some people, if they're faded or they're not paying attention, they think they could take the song literal. And you're like, no, he's talking about his microphone and his lyrics. He's spitting bullets through your head. You know what I'm saying?
I get you.
He's a Soundboy killer.
The last one is Home.
Well, that's when you travel as much as we do. You know, there's times when you're missing home, dude, and you're missing your kids, you're missing your family, and all you want to do is go home. Because, you know, it's a love-hate. And then when you're home all the time, you're like, dude, I can't wait to get on stage and tour. Especially when you're at a show like tonight, Stone Temple Pilots and Rival Sons, you're like that player sitting on the sidelines going, yo, coach, put me in, dog, come on. Put me in, I'm ready. You know, you get that antsy, like, I'm ready to jam.
Yeah.
But in all due time, when it's your stage, you enjoy it as much as you can, and you know, you definitely miss home when you're especially when you're far away, dude. If you're like in Asia or Australia, and you look at the map and you're calling home, and you're a day behind or a day ahead, that really sinks in. Like, man, dude, keep us safe because I'm far and I just want to get back home.
Yeah, man. All right. Well, that wraps up the song list for Circles, man. Hope you enjoy it. Again, it's one of my personal favorites, Marcos Curiel of P.O.D. Just giving us a rundown of every single track, 11 tracks, man. And you got to get this album, I'm telling you. Where do they follow you on the social medias at, Marcos?
I do Instagram and Twitter. My Facebook thing, it's full. But on Instagram, it's official Marcos Curiel. Once again, Instagram, official Marcos Curiel. And then on Twitter, it's just Marcos Curiel.
All right. Perfect. Marcos, I got a question for you. What would you say was the hardest struggle for you as a band coming and competing as Chicanos, Filipinos, Islanders? What would you say was the highest, like the hardest uphill battle for you guys?
Well, we're always dealing with the struggle, man. I mean, we got our faith, so there's people that judge us for that. You got your ethnic background, so people kind of trip on that. And you would think, in an ideal world, nobody does. But there's a lot of people that like to hate for this reason or that.
For no reason.
And it's like, yo, man, you could hate me because I'm wearing Docs right now. You could hate me because I'm wearing glasses or by the tone of my voice. It's just hate. And for us, man, we always feel like we've always had this struggle where to a lot of people, they're like, what are you talking about? You guys made it. You're still doing it. No, you're right. But when we see other bands getting certain treatment and certain love, we're like, we got to keep it in perspective and not be whiny babies and go, okay, we just have to work a little harder.
Yeah.
That's all. And we've always been we like to call ourselves that blue-collar working band.
Orale, good to know. You definitely have a unique sound when it comes to the guitars, bro. You are
Thank you.
One of a kind around the world.
Thanks.
Who was the person that gave you your first guitar? Who inspired you? Who said, hey, here's a guitar, or did you work for it? How did you get your first guitar?
Well, I don't know, man. I remember sitting watching TV, and it was like Monsters of Rock. Like, it came on. They had these big tours going on, and Scorpions, and I forget who else, Metallica, all these. And there was a guy just sliding on his knees on a freaking stage, and there was like backdrop of like the whole stadium, and I was like, dang, dude, I want to do that, right? And so I got this. There was not a bunch of friends. Hey, let's get a guitar. Let's start a band. I got this idea and was like, told my mom, hey, I want to play guitar. My mom was like, why? Because I want one. And then it was all me. It wasn't like someone influenced me. And my mom actually saved her single parent hard-earned money and got me a little Gorilla amp with a fake, like, duplicate, like, what do you call it? Replica Strat. It wasn't a Fender Strat. Right. It was called a Memphis guitar. So I got a Memphis and a Gorilla amp. And I thought as soon as I got home, I'm plugging in, I'm going to be amazing. I realized real quick that wasn't the case, so I sat in my room. And for the most part, I got some pointers from different people along the way. But for the most part, I am unorthodox. I don't play correctly, from what I gather. I just play from the heart, and I kind of just play by ear. Okay. So I'm self-taught, technically.
I'm not a...
And that kind of, I think, is a blessing in the sense with sound, because a lot of people they could play guitar and be technically amazing, but they don't have their own sound. Uh-huh. They can't write their own songs. So I just take what I have, and I go, you know what? I'll keep that, and I'll take it, man. I'll use that, and it's worked.
It's worked, and it also gives P.O.D. its own sound, and you could tell the difference, you know, when those guitar licks are there, and it's Marcos.
Thank you, man.
You know, also. I'm not much of a guitar guy, but this is the moment where we're gonna plug up your guitar companies. So which guitar are you using? Which are your favorites? What?
Okay, I've been using Paul Reed Smith guitars for over 20 years now. Okay. They are based out of Maryland, and Paul Reed is actually, he has some roots here in IB.
Oh wow!
Which a lot of people, I found that out, and I was like, what? How do you know about IB? I used to live there. What? What are the chances? But Paul Reed Smith is the owner of the company. He's still alive. He still makes these guitars. That's his company.
And I don't know nothing about it. So is it a backyard boogie guitar company, or is it like a big company
now? They're like the Rolls Royce of guitars.
Okay.
The reason I even wanted to play that guitar was Carlos Santana.
Same guitars he uses?
Yeah. And it has the way you'll notice what the guitar looks like. The fretboard has these birds going up the neck. And that's their trademark.
That's the trademark. Okay, speaking of IB, saying he's from IB, Southtown, Now, that is a big phrase that we incorporated here as San Diegans, and you guys are pioneers of that. Where did that sound come from? Or not the sound, but where does Southtown word come from?
Well, I mean, we kind of made that word up because, people would say South Bay, or it kind of was a word for the whole. You got National City, San Isidro, Del Sol, and we always get into discussions between me, Wov, and Sonny. They were like trying to pinpoint it and say that it was Del Sol and Cedro, and I'm all, no, dude, I think from the 8 South.
So you say the 8 South?
Well, yeah, from downtown to me.
Okay.
Because I'm from I grew up in Logan, National City, and Chula Vista.
Got it, okay.
So that was me.
Okay.
And so we could kind of agree on a word like Southtown. Those are all different neighborhoods. You go super south, you got Cedro, right?
Cedro, yeah.
So for me, it's just that. But we have our disagreements and discussions.
That's crazy. For me, it's south of the 54 and west of the 805. That's south, but that's South Bay. I've never, you know what I mean?
No, I know.
Southtown is, I just want,
Well, if you think about what South Bay means, you go from downtown,
so
the bay that goes all the way down, right?
Which is about to connect now.
Yeah, so if you think about that, that's why I've always told them, I said, dude, Southtown's from downtown south, dude.
Wow.
But I've always gone, no, it's Del Sol and Cedro. And I'm like, no, it's not, dude.
So it just depends who you ask.
Look at he'll even try to tell you the same thing. Yeah.
So it just depends who you ask, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right,
well, to the rest of San Diego?
No. Rest of the band members, because Southtown comes from the band.
But the rest of San Diego, they think the 8 South is the ghetto.
Wow. That's where the good food's at.
People from Poway, Encinitas, they're like, yo, dude, I don't go down there, dude. I'm going to get carjacked. I'm like, you're tripping, dude. South of the 8, that's so to them, that's Southtown.
Yeah.
That's where they're scared.
Oh, my God. They come down, man. We'll take care of you, man.
Hey, come get some tacos. I brought some people, and they're like, dude, am I safe? I'm like, dude, get out, dude. It's like Cheech and Chong. They're just a bunch of Chicanos, man.
Mexican-Americans that like to wake up in the morning. But, man, you guys scared the people, bro. When you guys had that MTV video with the dude in the flat tire, that's why. You guys kept their roots.
That was Wov's crib. That was the Cribs, man. I remember that because I was standing next to Wov, and they were throwing the carne asada up. And then we looked, and the car was going by in a flat tire.
Classic, bro. That's, to this day, still one of the most memorable MTV Cribs for me.
Yeah.
And another thing I remember on MTV, too, was when they had Ashton Kutcher. I don't remember his show, but they had Sonny.
Yes.
And they pranked him that they were going to have to cut his dress because of a chemical. It was a chemical spillage.
Yeah, that was punked.
Wow. That's crazy, man. Again, our new album, Circles, is out now, man. Appreciate you, Marcos, for taking the time, my brother. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Southtown representative, man. And anything else you want to add to this?
Everyone who has supported our band throughout the years, we have a lot of faithful fans of all cultures. We welcome you all, and we thanks for the love from Los Angeles, San Diego, to Houston, to New York. We love you. London. Thank you.
We can't forget the neighbors, Tijuana, right next door.
And Mexico también.
Hey, you should do una entrevista en español para la gente de Tijuana.
My Spanglish is not too good.
Está bueno. Bueno. Okay. Man, thank you all for tuning in. My name is Beto Perez.
All right. My name is Marcos Curiel
of P.O.D. Beto Perez. That's it, man. Chocala.